Hello my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm back with another review. So last week I asked everybody which couple would you like me to review next? And there was a big resounding Gino and Jasmine. Well guys, if you like it, I love it, I'm at your service. And I suppose there is quite a bit to talk about. But before we get into it all, I'd like to humbly ask your permission to flip-flop. Now I do need to ask because these two flip being the devil, second by second. I can barely keep up with it all. I know in the previous video, I decreed that it was Jasmine who was the loon because of Nickergate. But yeah, I'm going to have to flip-flop to Gino. For this week, it's Gino who seems to be in the wrong. But before we get into all of that, I just want to say thank you so much for sticking with me. Whilst I haven't been posting so regularly, I'm back on it now, so I'll be posting 2 or 3 times a week. So thank you to all my regulars, but if you're new here, welcome and consider subscribing to the channel. Just press that big red button marked subscribe, and if you enjoyed this video please don't forget to hit the like button, it really does help with my analytics. Thanks guys. Right, so without further ado, I give you Gino and Jasmine, the ongoing saga. Now, overarchingly, the story for this couple so far is about kids. Gino of course wants to have kids, and Jasmine of course has 2 kids that she wants to get over to America to live with her and Gino. And then of course, each one in this couple acting like a kid on an extremely regular basis. But this narrative is also about selfishness and self-interest, and neither one of these individuals could really give a flying frig how the other one actually feels about anything. They each just only consider how they feel, and the truth be told, it really is quite the headfuck guys, it really is. So what's happened so far this season? Well, first up we saw them go on the honeymoon from hell. Yes, that's right, they went camping. And guys, I have to say, I'm 100% with Jasmine on this one.
I have seen places like this just in horror movies where always someone gets murdered. I'm not a camping person. I don't like this. You know what? We're gonna bring me here. We should have a stay in your backyard. What's the difference?
Now I think it's a matter of quite some public record that everybody knows that Ebird has quite a healthy disregard for camping. You're lying on the floor with a bit of material covering you, and you have to urinate, well, wherever you can find. Guys, camping's nothing more than pretending to be homeless. You're cosplaying of being homeless. Jasmine told Gino that she likes to be on yachts and in bougie places, and this is where he takes her. But one thing I find very amusing about Jasmine is if she's upset about something, well, she's gonna tell it. Everybody's gonna know.
We just got married.
Well, congratulations.
This is our honeymoon.
Well, you're the first.
It's unreal, her rudeness literally knows no bounds. But I couldn't help but think she had to in some way have agreed to go camping. And I only asked the question, why? And I come up with one answer, so she can moan like F about it afterwards. Well, in fact, before, during and afterwards. I mean, it's fair enough, I don't like camping, but guess what? I don't go and then moan and roll my eyes all the way through the experience. Although if I did go, I probably would. But then Jasmine, as she so often does, went a step further.
So these are the showers. It's just a basic outdoor camping shower, but the water is always hot.
That's nice.
For my honeymoon, I wanted to go to at least Hawaii or Los Angeles. Something very bougie, glamorous, luxurious. I just got like 3 vaginal infections by looking at the shower.
Really, Jasmine? Really? I sincerely doubt it. I think that you've built up, well, probably the world's best immunity against such diseases by dint of the fact you've been sleeping with Gino for the past 3 years. And as if to prove my point, later on that evening after they'd pitched the tent and sat around a campfire for, well, the evening, Jasmine decided to suck Gino's toes. No, he hadn't washed his feet in the scuzzy showers. He'd been wearing flip-flops all day. But Jasmine sucked away no holds barred. Guys, I swear to God, these two are trying to turn stomachs. They really are. And they're very successful. Jasmine, you cannot ever tell me you are worried about germs, diseases or anything if you willingly suck Gino's toes. And so anyway, while still on this honeymoon of sorts, Jasmine and Gino began trying for a baby. But Jasmine lets production know she's really worried because she's had previous fertility issues. What? Really, Jasmine? I remember you saying previously that you didn't know if you wanted another child and that you thought that Gino was too old. So which is it? You don't want one or you definitely can't have one? Given that you've had 2 children before, I would argue that fertility doesn't seem to be that much of an issue for you. And I think, ladies and gentlemen, we're in the realms of Jasmine's freaking bullshit once again. And then she showed Gino her ovulation chart, which consisted of a few fish squiggled onto some paper with a biro. Oh dear. She explained to Gino they had to make love 12 times in 4 days. For Gino, this all seems far too much, as we know he prefers 12 times in 12 months. I think she's just doing this just so that she gets as much sex from Gino as she wants.
Make love 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 times.
I mean, sex 4 times in a day, 3 times in a day, it just seems like a bit much. Are you sure you're not exaggerating?
100% sure.
Anyway, America's simpleton, Gino, instead of taking seriously Jasmine's worries about being able to get pregnant and her fertility issues, simply says, "Don't worry, Jasmine, you're young, you're in your 30s. Correct me if I'm wrong, I think she's either 36 or 38. That's rather the wrong end of 30. But I guess in this day and age, that's not that big a deal. The main issue is Gino. Gino, you have 56-year-old sperm." He's extremely unlikely to be able to get Jasmine pregnant due to the fact his sperm are using Zimmer frames. Also, half of them can't remember which way to swim, due to the fact they've all got Alzheimer's. His sperm are so old, they're not tadpoles at this point, they've grown into frogs, guys. There's every chance that it's going to be Gino who turns out to be the problem. But anyway guys, all of that's just background noise when you consider the main event. And this basically concerns Jasmine's kids, their status, and their chances of getting over to America to live with Jasmine and Gino in Michigan. So Jasmine was talking to her mum on the phone and saying that she missed her, and apparently her mum has some health issues at the moment. And her mum let Jasmine know that her son Fiance has really been missing her. And Jasmine got really teary and upset. And then her mum said, "What's happening? Why are you leaving all of this to Gino to sort out? You really should go and see a lawyer." So Jasmine speaks to Gino, and the couple finally decide to go and see an immigration lawyer. So the scene is set in the car on the way there.
For me, I need to know, if I can use existing documents or do I need to create new ones? That's a huge question on my part.
Well, if he said that we need his service or any other attorney service, I'm sorry, but we are getting an attorney.
No, because I put too much hard work into this and I've done a great job on it.
So let me get this straight. Gino willfully admits that he doesn't know which paperwork he needs to fill in, but nevertheless, he believes he's done a great job. Gino really is a parody of a man. He's actually beyond a joke at this point. And so they meet the lawyer. His name's Anthony Ray, and he had kind of a slippin' Jimmy quality about him. But nevertheless, they sat down and started to chat. So Jasmine explained that she wanted to go back home to Panama because her mum's sick and she misses her kids. And the lawyer had fantastic news for her. He said while her green card is processing, she can go in and out of the country. That's the good news. But what's the bad news? Well, the bad news is that processing times for these visas are currently running at about 8 months. Jasmine looked elated and then crestfallen. And I don't know why I think this, but it seems to me that Anthony Ray seems, somewhat pleased with himself. Pleased that Jasmine seems so downhearted about her situation. He was gleeful when he told her the good news and then the bad news. Have a heart, Anthony. She's sitting next to that chump Gino. Don't you think she's had enough bad news? Anyway, that's all the tip of the iceberg. Things are set to get worse, much, much worse for Jasmine. Anthony has a few procedural questions for Gino.
So, Gino, were both the kids listed on the fiance petition?
Oh no, Anthony, no they weren't, because Gino has absolutely no idea what the hell he's doing. Gino, just out of interest, what did you do? What did you decide?
I did not have the children on the K-1 petition. I'm not an expert, of course, but the idea I thought was to bring Jasmine over and then have her children follow. But when I file her adjustment of status soon, can I put both her children on adjustment of status and file it with her children on there?
Google didn't tell you what to do.
Google didn't tell you what to do. This guy's a blatant joker. He sure does look very, very pleased with himself. Anyway, Anthony starts explaining in layman's terms that the kids have no legal status here because they haven't been listed anywhere. So Gino can't simply adjust the status because they have no status. Guys, why am I saying status? Status. You know what I mean. The entire time that Anthony, the lawyer, is explaining this all to Gino, he looks baffled and bamboozled. and he's wearing his ubiquitous idiot look. Anyway, Anthony, what's the upshot of all this clownery from Gino?
Because they're not listed, it's going to be impossible to, bring them over.
Wait, what? Impossible? Well, at the sound of that, Jasmine burst into tears. And she's absolutely furious with Gino. And as far as I'm concerned, rightfully so. Let's all remember that it did take Gino 3 years to get Jasmine's K1 visa approved. That's just a small clue that Gino perhaps didn't know what the F he was doing. Anyway, Anthony gleefully tells production that Gino's messed up royally, and he's hoping that Jasmine convinces Gino to retain his services so that no more mess-ups can occur. Like I say, Anthony, you don't need to be so gleeful as you say this. But guys, when Anthony explained that his fee was going to be $5,000, Gino balked at this figure. He quite simply thinks it's easy, he can do it himself, and he doesn't need to pay. But all Jasmine wants to know is, how long is the process going to take?
How long is long?
Hopefully it goes sooner, but it could be 1.5 to 2 years.
Wow. If I would have had both on the petition,
Including,
we would have been good.
Absolutely. We could have them sitting here in 6 months.
And Jasmine very promptly burst into tears. And between sniffles, she tells production that if she ever knew she could possibly be 2 years before she sees her kids, she would never have come to America. But guys, I gotta tell you, Gino has done the same selfish thing again. He sits there whilst Jasmine's in floods of tears. He doesn't try and comfort her. He just sits there like a naughty child. And I know what's running through his mind. I do not want to pay for this lawyer. I do not have £5,000. I'm capable of doing it myself. Although, of course, he isn't. That's what I believe he's thinking. It's as if he doesn't understand that Jasmine stands to lose 2 whole years from her children's lives. Years she'll never get back. Oh Lord. Anyway, next time we meet up with this crappy couple, they're at a restaurant and they're no doubt going to have what promises to be one of the world's most miserable meals. And so the couple sit and chat back and forth about the terrible news they've just had. And here's Jasmine's take on it all.
It could have been avoided if we have had, an attorney advising us. Like you omitting my kid's name, just it up for us.
Now that is true. It's not just true, it's actively true, it's objectively true, it's unequivocally true. But something tells me that the way that Gino sat there, arms are folded, like a petulant child, that he doesn't quite agree. Gino's far too stupid to realise his stupidity. He's busy frolicking at the front end of the Dunning-Kruger curve.
I feel bad that I missed one thing.
You didn't miss one thing. You missed the thing, the most important part of the process.
Yeah, it was important.
Exactly. That's why we needed a lawyer.
Guys, the pain in Jasmine's eyes, the supercilious grin of the lawyer Anthony, and the imbecilic look that Gino displays at nearly all times all tell me that you need to spend the money on a lawyer. Guys, I have a law degree. I would never even consider taking on something like this. You have to have a specialist, an expert in that field to make sure that no stone is left unturned. Of course, yes, I don't deny many people do the paperwork themselves. Do you know what else? Many people deliver their own babies. But it has to be said, it's better off in the hands of an expert, of somebody who is trained. But I tell you what, Gino doesn't want to hear this, not from me, not from Jasmine, not from Anthony, not from anybody. Jasmine tears strips off him and she says, we need a lawyer, we do. The whole time he sits there doing this, just nodding his head and saying no, no. Full points to Jasmine for resisting the urge of throwing her glass of wine over him. I don't know if I could have done the same. Gino refuses point blank to get a lawyer, and he actually said to Jasmine, whether a lawyer does it or me, the 2 years that it's going to take isn't going to change. Gino, do you not understand? Because you've made a mistake, that's why it is 2 years. Imagine if you make another mistake, it could be longer than 2 years. Guys, is this a difficult concept? Are we all capable of higher levels of complex thought that nobody else is? Or is Gino just an absolute bona fide numbskull? Guys, I'll leave it for you to decide. I know what I think. And to cap it all, Gino said to Jasmine, I got you here, didn't I? Yeah, you did. After 3 years. But also, let's not forget, Jasmine is degree educated. She's a teacher, or well, she was a teacher. She speaks 3 languages fluently, including English. And she has the capability to sustain herself. so one might argue that it would be quite an easy sell. But Gino hasn't quite finished just yet.
Once I was here, we were gonna do all the process to bring my kids. You promised,
Yeah. I said we will work on it together, yes.
That's why, please hire a lawyer,
And I'm not going to use a lawyer.
I cannot take that risk.
No.
Look at what we just...
I don't have money for a lawyer.
Wait, what? Gino doesn't have money for a lawyer? Of course he does. He has money for strippers. He has money for weddings and honeymoons. You have money for lawyers, Gino, come on. You paid $3,000 a month for Jasmine to live in that apartment in the middle of Panama City. Guys, what I think Gino is one, an absolute skinflint. But two, he doesn't want to be beaten. He thinks, well, whatever a lawyer can do, I can do. I don't see why I should pay. I only made one little mistake. I'm going to plough through and, well, whatever happens, happens. Gino should just say, I did want to spend time with you when you got into the country, Jasmine, but now I think it's time for me to go back to work. And although Jasmine will be on her own all day, that could be the compromise they need to get this money together, this $5,000, which I think Gino will be able to earn in 1 or 2 months. But guys, look at Gino's body language. It says for all the world, I really don't care that you're crying and upset and that you're absolutely drowning in grief. I'm simply going to cross my arms, shake my head and insist I have no money for lawyers. Guys, I don't know much in this world, but I know one thing, Gino has $5,000. Of course he bloody does. But it's what occurs next that lets me know deep in his soul, at his very core, Gino is not a good human being. Gino attempts to defend himself by apportioning blame to Jasmine.
She's putting all the blame on me. Really, both of us are responsible. We made a mistake and it cost us, and we have to do the best we can to try to fix it. So I'm going to do that myself and get them here as soon as we can.
Wait, what? He's a freaking socio. He honestly really is. We made a mistake and it cost us. Gino, you've only met those kids a couple of times. There's no loss to you whatsoever. It hasn't cost you anything. It's costing Jasmine. And you don't seem to care. And the show he's putting on for production. We both made a mistake. It cost us both. He's acting as if he's been busy crying himself to dehydration, whilst in reality, he couldn't give a threepenny fuck. In the end, Jasmine sat across the table from him, crying and saying, Gino, I'm begging you. I cannot wait 2 years for my kids. Please let's get a lawyer. And Gino said, nope, I won't do it. Even if I had $5,000, I want to do it myself.
What kind of evil person you are?
No, I'm not evil. I'm not evil at all.
Do you
I've been
love me?
busting my ass to get you to this country. And I get no appreciation for what I've done.
No appreciation for what you've done. You done fucked up. That's what you've done. But then Gino said, well, it's just as much your fault as it is mine. You should have been as involved as I was in filling in the paperwork. Come on now, Gino. She was in Panama and you were in America filling in the paperwork. It's on you. She wanted to get a lawyer involved years ago. I remember her saying it. And you said, no, it's easy. I can do it myself. So the least you can do now is pay for a lawyer to make things right. But even in the face of Jasmine's desperation, Gino is absolutely unmoved and resolute.
I'm begging you. I'm begging you.
And I'm telling you, I don't have.
you.
And I'm telling you, I don't have $5,000 to pay for a lawyer. I'm going to do it myself.
Do you understand how different your list of priorities is from mine? We're not on the same page. And I don't know if a marriage can survive that,
And guys, that's where we end things for this video. So what does the Ebird make to all of this? Well, like I said at the start of the video, both parties are only interested in what they want. Gino wants to save his money and do the paperwork himself, even in the face of a colossal fuck up. And he's not interested in the relationship between Jasmine and her kids whatsoever. On the other hand, it could be said that Gino would have more money if Jasmine hadn't have wasted money on expensive rents, Brazilian butt lifts and expensive wedding dresses. He might have more available cash. I think, don't get me wrong, I know he does have the cash, but I guess he's thinking, overall, how much have I sunk into this scenario? But I think where I'm at with it all is this. Nothing is more important to Jasmine and to their relationship than Jasmine's kids. If Jasmine doesn't have her kids, I believe her. I think she very well might go home. But I think Jasmine should really rethink this relationship because she shouldn't have to threaten going home to make Gino do the right thing. Gino should, regardless of money, want to reunite Jasmine with her kids. So guys, it's over to you. What do you guys make to it all? Whose fault do you think it is? And how do you think this can be resolved? I'm going to continue with the next part of this storyline later on this week, so look out for the video. But in the meantime, I'd love to know what you guys think, so please put your comments down below and I'll get on with my next video. Guys, please don't forget to like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Hit it, press it, smash it, caress it. Subscribe, my friends, subscribe. And I'll see you very soon. Thank you so much for listening. You've been listening to Ebird Online and I bid you good day.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of